was a screaming match from one group to the other.
Just because I don't support gun control doesn't mean I'm not the future too.
Police in Fairfax kept people on each side of the gun control debate separated.
We're out here showing the other side.
Vote them out! Vote them out!
The National March on the NRA was organized to protest the organization that advocates for gun rights.
We don't stand with this organization, we stand firmly against this organization.
Activists from all over the country joined survivors of the deadly shooting in Parkland, Florida at the rally. Students now fighting for stronger gun laws while remembering what they went through.
And that pain is what I carry with me today, and I carry with my message, and I share my story.
What do you say to those people who are saying that they want to see some kind of change happen with gun laws?
Well, everybody here on our side, grieved on Valentine's Day when the shooting happened. But what they're proposing is not going to work.
Most of the time, they disagree with us because they don't actually know what our positions are.
Organizers are demanding a ban on assault weapons and high-capacity magazines, a searchable database of gun owners, and for the IRS to revoke the National Rifle Association's nonprofit status.
We also need to implement a background check system that is not only able to work, but it is actually enforced by the attorney generals and people from every state that sometimes choose not to enforce them.
Counter-protesters say instead of tougher gun laws, they want lawmakers to get rid of gun-free zones.
Because 98% of these mass killings and shootings happen in a place where the shooter knows that there's not going to be anybody there shooting back at him.
No matter who you agree with,
This is what democracy looks like.
or what side of the issue you fall on, neither group is planning to back down anytime soon. How long will you all continue to fight for this?
As long as it takes.
In Fairfax, Michael Quander, WUSA 9.
And the protests also continued at the Capitol. People screaming at senators and also the vice president as they walked out.
Our Mike Valerio was at the Capitol with reaction there.
Well, tonight, calm has returned to the Capitol after 90 days of acrimony that divided America. But certainly the crescendo this afternoon was when Mike Pence descended those Senate stairs to declare victory in front of the country. An enraged reception for Mike Pence, the vice president escorted by Secret Service, moments after Justice Brett Kavanaugh's confirmation became reality.
I have 2 daughters, and what kind of country are we leaving them?
It's a nation deeply divided. Here, a handful of Kavanaugh supporters debated dozens of protesters. Tense moments drawing too close to the Capitol, with officers pushing us back mid-interview.
Ladies and gentlemen, the plaza is now closed. Everybody exit off the plaza. Keep moving, keep moving.
This is where we met 2 alumnae of Dr. Blasey Ford's high school, Holton Arms in Bethesda. Lauren Wooten first took us back to Friday's drama. What went through your mind when you heard Senator Collins how she was going to vote?
I was appalled. I could not believe that a woman would agree to vote for someone who is credibly accused of sexually assaulting another woman.
But Alexis Goldstein wanted Blasey Ford to know that her testimony was not in vain.
I think it's important for her and everyone to know that the world has already changed from this. I personally have been transformed. I think so many people have been transformed by this in a positive way, and we're not going to go back.
With Kavanaugh now confirmed, their message for Blasey Ford is simple.
We support you, we believe you, we trust you, we hear you. Your sisters are out here, we're watching, and we will be voting in November.
The courage is contagious, and when we all come out here and stand shoulder to shoulder with each other, we make each other brave.
On Capitol Hill, Mike Valerio, WUSA 9.
Did you know the idea of sending mail by airplane was pioneered in our area? Well, transportation reporter Pete Huntine has that story for us.
It sounds like 1918 at the College Park Aviation Museum, the year the Postal Service put packages on planes, right here for the first time.
And we take all of this for granted today.
That first won't be forgotten, says Museum Director Andrea Cochran-Tracy. A new ode to airmail was just unveiled here. Sunday marks the 100th anniversary of the first airmail flight. It went from College Park to New York.
It was driving innovation to achieve flight and then pushing the envelope. I think it's real important for folks to understand that and appreciate how far we've come in 100 years.
This exhibit shows that the risk was real for those flying the mail. A pilot, on average, survived only 2 months.
It was something exciting to do. He was all in.
Jim Miller's uncle was Max Miller, a 27-year-old runaway. He flew the mail for only 2 years. As his plane crashed down in flames, Miller tossed the mail bags overboard.
The stories of the early airmail pilots, they were the astronauts of the time period.
A dashing sense of duty celebrated on this centennial. Enclosed is a message about the trail blazed in our backyard.
It's amazing the technology in the last 100 years. It's a good feeling. You know, who wouldn't be proud?
In College Park, Pete Muntean, WUSA 9.
Blurred, it's the combination of black nerd. BlurredCon.
My face is Spider-Man.
There are people here who are cosplaying characters that are different than their color, different than their gender.
It's a place where people of color specifically can come and gather and embrace their fandom and express themselves in the way they need to express themselves.
Awesome. Like the best costume.
People of color, especially black nerds, they do exist and they have a voice and they do love what they're seeing and they want more of it. Characters of color in fandom and in science fiction and in comics, they either get whitewashed or they get erased or they get rewritten or they get forgotten because they don't get the amount of publicity and exposure that they need to really thrive.
I am really impressed with this because I really thought my son was kind of strange wanting to get dressed up in cosplay, and I didn't really understand. There's a bunch of us, and that's the one thing. I was afraid that if we went to a con that we would only be one of 3 or 4 African Americans.
Come out, meet a new friend, bring your old friends, whatever.
I can't wait for next year because my son has found his people.
She said, my son has found his people. That's all you want your children to do, to find their people.
Feel like they belong.